And KCAL rocks Patrick in the morning, and it's a Monday, which means it's time to talk some sports with our guy Pep. What's going on, Pep?
Hey, Patrick, good morning. Good morning, everybody out there. Listen, if you're a Dodgers fan, it's finally happening, right? Like we all kind of wanted this matchup, especially in the postseason again. Dodgers, Padres, after the Padres won a tough series with the Mets, but credit to the Padres going on the road and beating the Mets 3 times in the Big Apple to bring it back to the West Coast and now take on the rival Dodgers in the divisional series, a 5-game series coming up.
Right. I mean, I think most of us probably think, at least I do think the Dodgers are going to win. But, man, I guess we better beware of San Diego because I agree to go on the road and get those games. They did it. Mission accomplished. So it looks like the brother battle is on, huh?
Oh, it is. And as a Mets fan, I was like already planning ahead, like, oh man, that Dodgers-Mets series is going to be nuts. Some great starting pitching. Like, it's going to be a battle. It's probably going to be low scoring. And then lo and behold, the Dodgers or the Padres finally figured it out again. And you remember, Fernando Tatis is not on the team. You know what I mean? They kind of stumbled in the second half of the season, but here they are. They're still alive in the playoffs.
I have to agree. I was a little bummed out because I was looking forward to seeing Edwin Diaz come out of the pen and a little Timmy Trumpet handling the Norco going down, but it didn't happen, and the Padres did what they needed to do, so credit where credit is due.
And listen, there was the big Eargate situation during the game. And what's crazy is I was actually going to go on social media and search, Joe Musgrove's ears, because earlier in the game I kind of noticed, I'm like, why does it look like the inside of his ear is sweating so much? It looks like really glossy, like Vaseline or something. And I didn't think much of it. And then lo and behold, Buck Showalter, the manager for the Mets, actually wanted the umpires to inspect him and figure out what's going on. But apparently he passed with flying colors. There was nothing, shady going on.
No, because did you see that ump going over his ear? My goodness, I don't touch my wife's ear like that. My God.
Oh, he got in there.
He got in there. Every crevice, he went everywhere, Pep.
Oh, he got in there. And look,
it was
did look strange. It looked really glossy and shiny, like it was glazed over like a donut or something. But apparently, you saw it. They checked him out really good, and apparently there was nothing there. But he was nasty. It was a one-hitter for the Padres, and Joe Musgrove was absolutely nasty against the Mets.
Yeah, he was, dude. Dominated.
Yeah. All right, so we got Dodgers, Padres in one National League Series. We also have the Braves taking on the Phillies after the Phillies got past the Cardinals. So those are the 2 National League Division Series. Now, over the American League, it's going to be the Yankees against the Guardians, and then also the Astros against America's favorite team right now, America's sweetheart. Everyone's fallen in love with the Seattle Mariners. They have dispatched the Toronto Blue Jays, and they move on to take on Houston.
It was that 3-game series, and we're in the same position as the Padres. Like, it's funny, we share the same spring training facility, so it's kind of funny that we're going through the same thing. We have to go all the way to Toronto and beat them. First game, we do really well. Second game, we're down 8-1. Next thing you know, baseball goes bananas on us, and somehow we do the biggest comeback ever. Well, I'm just in shock in my living room. You know what I mean? I was just stunned.
Yeah, so was I, because I had the game on earlier. I'm like, oh, man. Seattle's not coming back in this one. And then lo and behold, they won it. And I was like, what happened? What went on?
I don't normally make a habit out of feeling sorry for the opponent, but I have to admit that I was like, man, they were so excited. And to get that dream kind of snatched away, I've been there so many times. The agony of defeat sucks.
Yeah. But you know what? It's finally Seattle's time. It's finally the Mariners' time.
We've suffered enough.
Yeah, and they're going to have a tough road to the World Series. They got Houston coming up in this series. If they advance, it'll probably be the Yankees, waiting for them in the ALCS if they make it that far. So it's going to be a tough road to the World Series. But, man, enjoy the ride while you can. Seattle getting into the playoffs, beating Toronto, and now they find themselves, deeper into the postseason. This is pretty awesome.
Of course, I'm loving it. It's been 20 years, like you said, but I actually do believe, I'm dumb enough to believe that we're the only team built to beat those teams.
Maybe, right?
The only ones.
Maybe, and that's what makes it so much sweeter. When your team has been so bad for so long, you just enjoy it a little bit more, I think, than if let's say you're a Yankees fan or one of these teams that's always in the playoffs. You enjoy it a little bit more.
I can't believe how happy I've been. It's crazy.
We'll talk some football because maybe you're not so happy with your Seattle Seahawks. But Patrick, it wasn't that long ago that we were messing around and joking about how bad the NFC East was. We were calling it the NFC least because it was so bad. It was the worst division of football. All of a sudden, it's like the best division in football. We've got the Cowboys at 4-1 after beating the Rams 22-10. We got the Eagles at 5-0. They beat the Cardinals yesterday. The Giants are at 4-1 after they beat the Packers in London. The NFC least is probably the best division in football right now. I can't believe I'm actually saying those words out loud.
You're right. It's what happens, and it has swung the other way. The NFC least is now the NFC beast.
It is, and nobody saw this coming, right?
No.
Cooper Rush stepping in for Dak Prescott. We thought, no way the Cowboys, were going to win some games. Maybe they'd stay afloat a little bit, but no, nothing like this. And then the Eagles to be the only undefeated team in the NFL, and then the Giants. When's the last time the Giants haven't even been relevant? Eli Manning was the quarterback. I mean, it was like 10 years ago. Like, they have not been relevant for a long time. And now, between those three teams, let me do some quick math. 13-2 overall between those three teams? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we just thought that the Eagles were going to be, like, mildly good. That's all we knew, and now all of them are good.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. And if you're a Rams fan, you're thinking, man, what happened? We can't even beat the Cowboys with their backup quarterback in Los Angeles. The Rams offense is just sputtering right now. Someone's got to figure that out because this offense was considered probably the best in the NFL. Now they're mediocre at best. Like, they just cannot get the ball into the end zone consistently.
It just is one of those things where, everything's not going their way, and sometimes that happens.
It does. And you look at their roster and you're like, how does this not work? Yeah, they need a running game. They need to find something going with that rushing attack. But, man, you think, wow, how did this team go from being so explosive on offense and just completely lose their identity? So that's what the Rams are going through right now, an identity crisis.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, one other NFL score from over the weekend. Of course, the Chargers coming back, beating the Browns 30-28 on the road. That was a nice win for the Chargers to be, again, the Browns, they don't have Deshaun Watson yet, but still, they still have probably the best, speaking of running games, probably the best running game in all the NFL. That was a good win for the Chargers to come back like that, down by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, it was. That running game is tough, but they did pull it off. Austin Eckler was going bananas.
Yeah.
He was doing amazing.
Probably the best running back that nobody talks about, right? We talk about best running backs in the NFL, especially catching the ball from out of the backfield too. Nobody talks about Austin Eckler, but he's legit, man. He's a big-time running back for the Chargers. And Monday Night Football tonight, Raiders and Chiefs, right? Can the Raiders do what not many teams can do, and that's beat Kansas City in Kansas City?
I know, it just seems like such a tough schedule because look how tough the road has been for the Raiders already. But this is shaping up to be a classic battle. I could see this being a tight one.
Yeah, if people want to actually buy in on the Raiders, this would be the game where you buy in. If they actually beat Kansas City in Kansas City, you'd be like, okay, wait, hold on. Let's pump the brakes on the Raiders a little bit. Maybe they can actually turn things around and get things going. But if Kansas City wins, everyone's going to be like, well, Kansas City was supposed to win.
Classic AFC West battle.
Yeet. All right, finally, some good old-fashioned college American foosball. USC and UCLA both 6-0 after wins over the weekend. UCLA beating Utah. That was the big game over the weekend. They won by 10, 42-32. That was a huge win for the Bruins, Patrick, and I know you know this. Your Washington State Cougars, Wazoo, falling to USC. Game of battle, 30-14 was that final score. But at the end of the day, USC, UCLA, both 6-0, repping the Pac-12.
Right, so USC still cruising right along, but I think it's like you've been telling us the last few weeks. UCLA seemed to be like the best kept secret for a while, but now to beat Utah like that, you know what I mean? That is a big thing because we all know Utah's tough.
Listen, I've been on an emotional roller coaster with UCLA because before the season began, I thought UCLA was better than USC. And then they play like their first 3 games of the season. I'm like, hold on, wait, UCLA is not as good as I thought. Man, they're barely getting by these teams that they should be blowing out. And then all of a sudden they're beating the Pac-12 favorite Utah. Like I don't even know what to think anymore. I'm just like an emotional roller coaster with the Bruins, but they've figured it out and they look pretty good.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be ready for the Big Ten. They're already gearing up. They're already ready now.
Yeah, and listen, there's no days off in the Big Ten. Every single weekend, you're going to have a battle for USC and UCLA when they finally make that move. But right now, enjoy it in the Pac-12. They're both 6-0.
Man, I love it. Well, enjoy your Monday Night Football tonight, Pep. Tell them how to get your stuff.
Hey, I'm going to enjoy. In the meantime, check us out on Inland Sports. Before the Chiefs and Raiders, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That is Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.